Hey guys, thanks for watching our first Q&A. We got a question from someone who submitted a question and who's a white belt. Okay, and let's just go over the question. Okay, question is, I have let's see. I need to try to find a new way to look at BJJ. I guess a question for you is, how do you find structure? And then he goes on further saying, I'm referring to an organized learning schedule. For me personally, it was a huge hurdle to get across. The only way I managed were private lessons, which, as you know, is expensive. Okay, so, and then this person, their backstory is, they're a white belt, relatively new, doing about a year, and they work a 9-to-5 job, make decent, good money. They're not, super poor, but they're not also extremely rich. Okay, so like most people, relates to most people. Okay, to work a 9-to-5 job. So first of all, I would say go to if you're part of a gym, like a jiu-jitsu gym, whatever type of martial arts gym, go to your gym. Okay, go under the guidance of your instructor, see what they teach in the class. Okay, and just do those moves at first. Okay, try and absorb everything, especially if you're new, like white belt or whatever, new at any type of sport, martial art. Okay, back like the Brazilian tradition, like when I started around 10 years ago, was that you would go to class and then they would have a move. They would show like 3 moves. A lot of times, sometimes they'd be random, but a lot of times they'd be related. So we're gonna show an arm bar as move 1, and move 2 is like if he reacts this way in the arm bar, we do this, and then move 3 is like if he does that other reaction, then we do this. Okay, so you do have like some direction, but you didn't necessarily, the move wouldn't be connected to like the next days or the previous days, so it'd be kind of like random amalgamation of moves. Okay, and when you're just starting out, you like know basically nothing, that's fine. You just want to absorb everything you can. Okay, but it can seem sometimes that there's not much like direction for it. But nowadays, a lot of coaches, instructors, they do a good job of like, this week we're going to do this position or this move. So this week we're going to do Kimura. And then we're going to do like some variations each day. Kimura from this position, Kimura from that. Kimura if your opponent does this, Kimura if your opponent does that. How do I react? Blah, blah, blah. So even if you don't go to class every day, you didn't really miss out. Like, so just because you missed class Tuesday doesn't mean like now you're not going to learn arm bars or something. And what I would say in terms of attendance is, people are busy, work 9-to-5s, they have families, relationships, whatever, kids. Try to go at least once every 2 weeks. Now that seems like not very much. I'm going off of like my perspective as a student and like busy work and all that. If you can go more, that's great. If you can go every single day, awesome. But if like minimum, try and go like at least once every 2 weeks. If you can't do that, if you have to take some time off from work, whatever, that's fine. We'll talk about that in like future episode, how to still get better if you can't go even like that much. But try and go at least that much. So usually your instructor, they're going to teach some moves, and then you're going to have like a rolling session or like open mat or something at the end or like after class. Okay, so try and implement those moves. Let's say, for example, you just don't feel like you love that move that the instructor showed, which is totally fine because everyone's different, everyone has different tastes, not everyone's gonna like everything. What can you do if you want to find a move you like? Okay, because like for example, like instructor may show half guard, which I love, and then other people, they like De La Hiva guard or something, they're not going to be loving it, and then vice versa, So if you don't have money to shell out for private lessons and like online instructionals, DVDs, this is what I recommend. This is what I did. Okay, I want you to go to YouTube, search up either like IBJJF, International Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Federation, or ADCC, Abu Dhabi Combat Club, or even if you're like into MMA, UFC, or whatever, and look at their like top athletes matches. So you would say like IBJJF black belt final and then put in the year 2015 or whatever, and then they'll have like different weights usually, and then so just watch a few of the matches. You may want to try and watch some matches that are like close to your weight, although you don't have to. That's not like, you don't have to do that. And then just watch some different athletes. It doesn't have to be a finals. It can be whatever, different rounds. And then watch a few matches, see what kind of styles you like. See, is there one athlete that you kind of like his or her style? And then watch the match. Then rewind, play in slow motion if there's something that's happening that you don't get. Especially if you're new, you're going to learn a ton from this. Just observation, seeing their behavior. Okay, are they just, when the match starts, are they like running at each other and like pulling guard or going crazy for takedowns? Or are they being like very calculated, doing grip fighting? Are they pulling guard? If so, how? When in the match? Are they trying to go for submissions right away, or are they trying to set up something else and like go for a submission at the end? Are they even trying to do that? Blah, blah, blah. So you learn a ton of stuff just by watching other people's behavior without taking notes or anything, okay? And then from there, you're going to see, like, find an athlete that you like, and then go back and watch more matches of his or her on YouTube, and see, is there like a certain move they're doing or position they're doing that you really like. So for example, I would watch Bernardo Faria. He's known for his half guard, okay? And I saw, like, how is he getting there? You know, how is he setting up the position? What is he doing once he gets there? Is he going there right away, or is he taking some time and doing these other setups to get there? Okay. And then from there, I would watch like more of his matches. Okay. And then you're going to find yourself that you're going to watch like one match, and you may actually come back to it like over the years and learn new stuff from that. And that's like, that just shows how much gold is in one match. Okay, there have been matches I watched after 5 years, and I noticed a detail that for whatever reason I wasn't purely noticing or understanding from years ago, and it adds to my game even now. So it's crazy how much information there is. You're gonna find an athlete that does a move, identify a move or position that you like. So for me, it was Bernardo Faria, half guard. Okay, then you may watch other BJJ talk shows or whatever, and come across, they're gonna say, oh, these people do half guard or whatever. And you're gonna find like some other athlete who does that similar move, but they may do it in their own way. Watch that, okay? Because there's like a billion ways to do every move, okay? So you're gonna watch that and see, how does that person do it differently? So for example, I found another athlete, Lucas Leitch. He also plays half guard. He does it in a different way, okay? He's smaller than Bernardo Faria. He has like a different style. So don't be like closed-minded and only take from one athlete, okay? You don't want to be a carbon copy of any athlete, which is something I fell into in my like earlier days. Now I learned that it's better to take a little bit from here, take a little bit from there, make it your own. By the way, those top athletes you see, that's what they did too. You know, they're not a carbon copy of someone else for the most part, okay? So you're gonna find an athlete, watch their match, rewind, slow-mo if you don't understand, watch more of their matches, find a move they like or that they're doing that you feel like, I could do this, you know, this isn't crazy, like flipping upside down that I can't do. Do that move, find other athletes who do the move, see some similarities, differences, take stuff you like from here, stuff you like from there. Oh, I feel like I could do it this way, but I also like the way he sets it up, but I like the way he actually implements it once it's set up, whatever. And then the most important part is implementing it during the roll, okay? So go to class when they have the free roll time, work the techniques that your coach teaches you, but also, you know, it's not just that. So if your coach teaches you an armbar that day, you're not only gonna be doing arm bars. This isn't like some fake martial arts where we only drill like one move and we don't like take into account real life. You're gonna have guard passing, you're gonna have back take submissions, even if they don't show that during that class. So you're gonna work your move that you've been watching, okay? Just the fact that you've been watching it, you have like at least 80% of it down. Just, you know how the behavior works. You know, you've watched how the other guy on the YouTube sets it up, how they implement it, what mistakes not to make, what mistakes that they may have made. Okay, you know a lot of that already before you even did your first roll. Okay, but now you're going to test it out. I would suggest testing it out on someone not as good as you, and in fact, like way not as good as you, like way worse than you. Okay, this may be kind of hard to find if you're a white belt, but that's fine. White belt, you're just trying to absorb everything and trying to survive. Okay, you're going to find that at white belt though, by near the end or middle end of your white belt, you know, after a year or two, usually like after a year, people become a blue belt, maybe 2 years, it depends. You're gonna find that you're still white belt, you're getting crushed by everyone, but you're better than like other new white belts who started like 2 weeks ago, and you've been doing it for like 3 months, okay? So those would be the people that you wanna practice your new moves on, okay? Because they're not gonna know exactly how to resist you, and you're gonna, it's kind of like they're your guinea pig. Okay, so you're gonna try the move on them, okay, and it may not work at first. That's just because you've been only watching it. Okay, if I want to play basketball, I'm not gonna get good at basketball just watching it. I have to try it out. So that's why you're trying this out. Just know that you may fail like a billion times. It's totally fine, as long as you start to learn like, what can I do better? Why did it work for this guy that I watched on the YouTube and it didn't work for me? By the way, those guys that you watch, or girls, whatever, they're pros usually, which is why I advise you to watch like black belts. They're pros who have been practicing like more than 10,000 hours for the most part, okay? So just keep that in mind. Don't get discouraged if a move doesn't work. It's not a bullcrap move. It still works if you see them doing it. That's the other thing. Don't watch techniques, or be very careful, especially when you're starting, about watching random techniques on YouTube. There's so many good free, you know, content out there, but you don't necessarily know the context of how to implement it. And then you don't even know if it's a good move yet, if it works, okay? So a lot of times, like, you'll see some crazy footlock that's supposed to like win you the match, shown by someone who doesn't necessarily know what they're doing, and they don't compete, and you trying to implement it, you wonder, why is it not working? Because it doesn't necessarily work. But if you see a move in competition, you know it works because the other guy was actively resisting it and it still worked. Okay, so you know it works. This isn't WWE. It's not, there's no setups at all, it's real. Okay, so find a move, watch it, find an athlete, find a move that they do that you like. Watch the athlete multiple matches, find another athlete who does similar stuff, compare the moves, take from here, take from there, and you can even add more athletes, but just stick for like 2 right now, and then go test it out on someone not as good as you, okay? And then the last thing I'll say is something I ignored for a while, is that you don't want to be like a one-trick pony. You don't necessarily want to do the same position on every single person in your gym. You want to roll with people not as good as you, people your level, and then people better than you, okay? So people not as good as you is a good time to experiment on new techniques that you're not so confident in, and develop the muscle memory and stuff so that you can get better at it. People playing like on your level is a good time to work on like your A game, because you're going to be more back and forth competitive with them. See like, how can I do setups for moves that I like, and like, is it working, the stuff I've been practicing on lower belts, is it working on this person my level? And it gives you that like edge of like, when it's close, you know how to, you know, execute your position, okay? And then people better than you can try your A game, and you know, I encourage you to do that, but also know that they're probably gonna out-skill you, and they may put you on the defense a lot because they're just better than you, and that's totally fine. So you're gonna be practicing a lot of your defense. So they're gonna probably pass your guard or take your back or get you in mount or something. So you're gonna have to work on surviving from there. It's like you're a white belt all over again, which is fine. That you need offense and defense, and I would argue defense is more important, because what's the point if you can't even defend yourself? Isn't that like a big reason a lot of us do martial arts? Okay, so so people not as good as you, you're gonna work your moves you're not confident in. People your level, you're gonna try and do like probably your best game, or like stuff that's you're developing that's pretty sharp. And then people better than you, you're going to try and do your best game, but also realize you're probably going to end up having to play a lot of defense, which is fine. Just one tidbit off of that is that if someone's like way worse than you and you happen to be partnered with them, don't, even if you do a move that you're working on, you keep killing them with it, try something like completely new, like experiment. Like, so if they're just like a white belt and you're tapping them like 500 times in 2 minutes, what you can do is like say, I'm going to let them take my back and like see how much I can survive, or does this new escape I'm working work? Okay. So try those out. You can get a long way just like with free stuff. And actually, I think watching matches is the absolute best way, especially to start out with, before you go on to like getting DVD instructionals and all that stuff. Okay. Thanks for the question. Let me know if you have any other questions. And thanks for watching, guys.